Hello, everyone. Welcome to Money Matters. If you like to make money and learn about crypto and other investment topics, please subscribe to the channel. If you enjoy the content, then hit that like button as well. Let's get going. As always, this channel is focused on your financial freedom. And as a disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor, nor do I give financial advice. If you need such advice, then contact your local accredited financial advisor. Let's take a look at the markets. Woohoo, everything is looking much better, much better. We predicted this, so we're right on track with what we were talking about. There's a lot of things at play here, and the party's not over. We will continue to see big gains over this weekend. I think Bitcoin is really going to have a stellar performance. But the hot topic for today is XRP. For those of you who like XRP, like me, there's a lot of things going for it, and it is leading the way as far as pricing right now. In fact, I think it's up over 500% in the last 30 days or so. So it's really making a good play. But as we've talked about before, we're looking for a very specific point in time. That's when the altcoins detach from Bitcoin and start their parabolic end of the market bull run. So let's review a little bit of what's happening and what we're going to be seeing. We knew that Bitcoin had a ceiling right around 55, 57. We've broken through that, no problem. 60, 62 by the end of the weekend, Monday, absolute possibility. In fact, I think that will be a certainty. Ethereum will continue to do its own thing. It's detached. Many, many good things are happening. We've got tons of videos coming forth about Ethereum. Now, the altcoins, Bitcoin's dominance continues to drop. So we should see at some point in time, even though Bitcoin's price goes up, the dominance in the market is going to go down. And when it does, you'll see the altcoins speed up in their price escalation. So I think that this may be the signal that it's starting off. There was such a turnaround and such a jump in just about every single coin today. It's hard to miss, and it's hard to miss the indications that come from it. So I'm hoping, there's no guarantees, but I'm hoping that this is the lead off into alt season, and we should see some pretty exciting weeks coming up, but we'll see. In the news, as I mentioned before, Ripple, and I bring this on here because there were so many things that are happening that I wanted to make sure that everybody was aware, especially for those folks who have XRP. And a lot of people do. And they've been holding it like me for a long, long time, waiting for the price to go up. But let's read through these because there's some really good information here. The price of XRP, not Ripple, is going up. For those of you who don't know, they're embroiled in a battle with the SEC on whether or not XRP is a security. It's not a security. I have no idea where this came from, but the SEC has totally screwed this up. They have just made massive errors in their legal presentation, and Ripple has fantastic legal representation. They're just tearing the SEC apart. So Ripple is moving to dismiss this case. No decision is going to be made. I don't think it will be made until probably the end of May, beginning of June, which kind of coincides pretty nicely with this whole idea of alt season, frothing at a peak at that point in time. But we'll see. One of the key issues that the SEC was trying to address was foreign activity that through Ripple. And they can't get that information. They're not going to be able to get it. They're not going to be able to use it in their case. I don't think it would have made any difference whatsoever, but it was just another nail in the coffin for their presentation and what they're trying to do. We already know that XRP is up. The other thing that I really wanted to make mention of is this whole IPO thing. So if you think about the reasoning behind an IPO, I don't really understand. It's not like they need the money. So maybe it's because they don't want to release more Ripple, or I'm not really sure what, or I mean, XRP, but I'm not really sure. But the timing is the timing is actually good. We're in a bull market. If they can push it through quickly, and I don't know if they're going to do some sort of an IPO or a direct like Coinbase did, but we'll probably hear more about that over the next few weeks. And I think it's a pretty brazen move on Ripple's executive team part to actually bring this up. But I also think that it lends legitimacy to their stake in the sand saying, hey, listen, we didn't do anything wrong. We want to continue with our business and we're going to follow, the rules to raise money in a traditional way, something like that. I'm not really sure what the idea behind it is, but the timing is good. I think they should go forward with it. I think they probably will go forward with it if they can get it done quick enough. And of course, the effects on XRP are going to be astronomical. Along with the settlement of the lawsuit, that's going to be insane as well. So I really do believe that there are some bright times ahead for XRP. That's why I wanted to kind of point it out tonight and make sure that everybody was kind of aware and up to speed on it. Let's talk about exit strategies. So with the altcoin bull run on the horizon, I know that there's a lot of people who have rotated out of Bitcoin and into altcoins as they traditionally do. When altcoins are low, you buy in, wait for the bull run, sell off, then put your money back into stable coins or back into, it should be a Bitcoin this time around, folks, because Bitcoin is going to continue to go up throughout the rest of the year, just as Ethereum. And we've talked about price predictions, but every day gets stronger and stronger convictions on my part that this is not going to diminish at all. In fact, I heard on the news today that it was a European company. I don't know if it was Germany, but they issued $100 million in bonds on the Ethereum blockchain. So, and the worldwide bond market is hundreds of trillions of dollars. So this is just a drop in the bucket. However, this has a huge effect on sentiment towards Ethereum and the actual functional being of Ethereum as well. So this is huge news. It's still just the very beginning stages of it, and it's just going to get bigger and better from there. But I digress. Back to the altcoins. When the season starts taking off and everybody's jumping around in the streets, having a good time, counting the money in their head, you have to have a level mindset so that you can do the right thing at the right time. So today we're going to talk about exit strategies, and I'm going to share with you my philosophy on having a good exit strategy or exit plan. And I'm even going to show you some of the things that I've used with a actual example that I have for one of my altcoins so that you can take note and glean something from it that may be helpful to you as well. So knowing when to sell is just about, if not more important than knowing when to buy. If you don't create a plan, you run the risk of not optimizing your profit. In addition to that, I've been there, and I can guarantee that most of the people watching this today have been there as well. When you have a price in your mind that you're going to sell, I'm going to sell Ripple at $10. Then, I mean, it's XRP. Oh. XRP at $10. It gets to $10. You go, oh my gosh, it's on fire. It's going to go to 15, and you don't sell it at 10, and then it goes to 13, and then it drops to 0, and you didn't sell anything because you didn't have a plan. So one of the best side effects of creating a very strategic exit plan is taking the emotion out of the decision, the emotion out of the action. And I'm going to tell you how to do it the way I do it through Coinbase Pro. And if you have a Coinbase Pro account or some of the other exchanges, you can do limit orders and preemptively execute your plan. So, and then the other thing is that you can kind of on pencil and paper figure out what your profits are before you ever do anything. So it really gives you some peace of mind going into alt season, knowing that you've already taken care of business, you know what you're going to do, and as long as you follow through with that plan, you're golden. So let's talk a little bit more about the details. One point I want to bring up is stop losses. Now, a stop loss is a trade that you can put in that says, if the price of this stock or this cryptocurrency gets to this point, sell it immediately. Well, sometimes that's really good because you can mitigate your losses. If you're sleeping at night and the price takes a $100 dive and you set your sell point at $5, you miss out on that $95 horrifying pain point that you would have missed until the morning. So there is a function and there is a place for stop losses, but it's more in the traditional market than in crypto. And the reason why I say that is because the crypto market is so volatile. It is moving in horrifyingly radical ways constantly. And if you look at this slide and look where the green arrow was pointing, you can see that this candle, which is called a hammer because it has a long handle like a hammer, and it's red, so it's a loss. It's dripping down. The wick is dripping down, has a substantial length to it. So this was a huge price drop. But if you notice, the fat part of the candle is still up at the top. So it didn't close out at that low price. It just dropped really fast and then came back up really fast. Well, that's good if you were sleeping and you didn't have an opportunity to sell or whatever, but it's really bad if you had set a stop loss and you could have avoided selling at that low price when it wasn't really a low price. It was just a touch point. It went down for a second, then came back up. So there was really no risk of you losing all of your money because it was just a momentary, action. So stop losses for crypto, especially in a wild bull market, is not a good idea. This isn't financial advice, by the way. However, it's a bad idea in my book anyway. So we're going to talk about better ways of mitigating your risk and maximizing your profits. Let's make a plan. I'll share with you, as I said before, some of the strategies that I use and actually some of the work that I do that goes into creating my plan. And the first step is research. Why? Well, you want to know what price to sell. So if you're listening to people talking about it on YouTube channels or your friends at work or whatever, that you'll see varying estimates on when the best price or what the price is going to top out at. So even if you talk about Bitcoin, you hear anything from 300,000 to $1 million to 128,000. So it's all over the board. When you get to altcoins, it's a little bit different because most people don't have an opinion. They're not as mainstream as Bitcoin. So you're not going to get this wild variation in estimates. Typically, what happens with altcoins is investors look at history. Well, what has this coin done in the past during a bull market? They'll look at 2013 if it was around even then, but right now most people are looking at 2017, and they'll say, okay, well they can look at a chart, they can look at a graph, they can look at anything, a table, and just see what the different pricing was for each coin at that time, which is something that I do too. I want to see, hey, how did Zcash do in 2017? But of course, I did this before I bought any of these coins as well. And the reason why is because I would go through, I create a spreadsheet, and list all of the altcoins on there, look at the pricing and see what percentage is left to grow before it reached its old all-time high. That's a good indicator of the spread that it may recoup and provide profitability. So mathematically, you can calculate how much you're going to make on every single trade given a certain price. And I'll show you a little bit of that coming up. But before you even buy something, you want to know the historical performance of that asset so that you can understand what your profit potential may be. So you really want to do a lot of research on pricing. I have, I made mention of here as well. I do watch a lot of YouTube channels as well, and I have some favorite people that I watch. Blockchain Backer, he's a really cool guy, and he really focuses on XRP, but he's a very technical analysis type person and fairly conservative, and I really enjoy his remarks and comments and conversations. So I really look to him and a lot of the things that he does to bake in some of my pricing things too. Invest Answers is another show that is really good. Benjamin Cowan is a friggin' brain. He's always talking about, oh, when you were in kindergarten and they were teaching you calculus, you never thought you would use. I mean, kindergarten calculus? Are you serious? And this guy's just really smart, and he's very technical. And if you go through his charting with him, it's pretty amazing, all the things he talks about. But my point is that you want to find people that you trust, that you can listen to, that can explain why they think the price of a certain coin is going to go up. And then you can say, oh, well, that makes sense to me. And you can get behind it, believe in it, and follow it. So research, 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 research. Now you want to get organized too. I always use a spreadsheet. Most people do, so that they can have the numbers in front of them. You can put automatic formulas in there. When I have the website up and running, I'll have a ton of different spreadsheets up there that people can use for options tradings, puts, calls, for tracking all of their cryptocurrencies, things like that. So, but for now, you can probably find a good one online. If not, just make up one on your own. I'll have an example here of one that I've done. And if anybody wants a copy of it, just make a comment in the text make a comment in the comment section, and I'll see about putting together a spot where people can go and retrieve it. Okay, so now you have the spreadsheet. You want to list all your coins on there, the price you paid, any fees associated with what it costs you to buy that, the all-time high price. That's a very important indicator as well. And the average price that your research is kind of telling you that asset's going to go to. So if it's XRP and it's $13, you want that number on there. If you're on an exchange, and I alluded to this earlier, like Coinbase Pro, where you can go in and you can make a limit order, sell order, you can execute this without ever having to do anything. So here we are in last day of April. You can set up your exit plan to execute whenever you want, which I have done. So if not for XRP, because you can't have XRP on any exchange that offers limit sell because of the stupid lawsuit. So Uphold doesn't have that ability, and that's one of the only exchanges where you can actually buy and sell XRP. So anyway, I digress again. But you want to be able to set your limit orders and walk away from it. So if I have EOS and I know that my sale price for 65% of my EOS is going to be $13, I can go into Coinbase Pro and I can enter that order, click, and it just stays on the books until EOS hits that price. It'll just stay there. One thing I did notice several times, and I don't know if it was operator error on my part or if there was something funky going on, but you want to check those orders every day to make sure they're all still there, because I've had a couple of times where I've looked and they were no longer there and I had to redo them. And you don't want to go to bed at night sleeping with a big smile on your face, dreaming of gingerbread men and all that kind of thing, and thinking that you're covered, and then you're not. So it's good practice to always check up on things anyway. So I would highly recommend doing that. Okay, so don't let this confuse you or scare you. It's very simple. And I double stacked it so it would fit onto this slide a little bit nicer, but normally it would be straight across so that you could see everything in one fell swoop. So the coin that we're talking about here is Uniswap. I actually purchased 394 of them. I paid $23.76. I paid an $18.73 fee. My total cost was about $9,400. The all-time high is $32.90. The current price, when I hadn't updated this sheet, I used a digital tracker during the day, but I hadn't updated the sheet, but it was $38. So where it says current profit, I have a formula in there that would automatically take the current price, multiply it by what I have, and say, hey, your profit, if you sold it today and you took away your initial $9,400 investment, you would make $5,700, which is great. But we're not selling today. I want to understand how I can execute my exit strategy. So my exit strategy is to sell about 65% on the first round. And this is for most altcoins. There's some like XRP where that's not what I'm doing. I'm selling quite a bit more at my sell price. But for this one in particular, I have two sell prices, or two sell price events. The first one, I sell 65%, and the second sell, I sell the remaining 35%. So I figure what my price is, and the first price is the reasonable price, or the price that you do your research for, and you kind of come to an understanding. This is a consensus in the market. This is what people think this is going to be going to. I feel this way too, reading stories and, you know, all kinds of things like that. So for my first sell, which I'm selling 65%, it says quantity to sell 256 at $64. The profit from that trade would be about $16,400. I still have 138 coins left. So I let that ride, but I have another sell order in. That other sell order in is at $79. So it's a bit higher than what this one is. So hopefully the price will continue to go up, and this sale executes automatically once it hits $79, and then I make an additional $11,000 profit. There's a couple of things to think about here. First, you're taking profit off the table, which is important. You really should be doing it. And there's much more complex systems where you can have 10 different sell points. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. It's kind of like cost dollar averaging, but backwards. So there's nothing wrong with that at all. In fact, that's a really great thing, especially for certain assets or certain coins. But for, you know, just a cut and run for some of the, I think I have like 13 different altcoins or something like that. For Uniswap, which is a big performer, I wanted to make sure that I got a hefty profit at my speculated price, my first really heavily researched price, which is $64. So I'm minimizing my risk. I'm not holding out to 79. Would I like to sell it all at 79 and make a bigger profit then? Hell yeah, of course I would. But I want to limit my risk. I want to make sure that I take something home. So imagine, if you will, your first trade executes at $64. You make your nice profit, but you never hit that 79, and your money's just still sitting in there. Are you going to cry wee all the way home? No, you've already just made a chunk of change. You could just let that ride till the next bull run, or whenever you care to sell it. You never take a loss until you sell it. So you took a risk thinking it may go up higher. It didn't. So now you have to wait. You didn't lose anything. You just have to wait. A couple other things here too. You'll notice on the right, I have like a hold. It says hold and a 0. There's certain coins that I'll execute 2 sales points on, like 65%, then 35%, and then I'll allocate a certain amount that I want to ride. So for example, if it was a project that I really believe in, something like Cardano, or Ethereum and Bitcoin are blue chips. I'm going to hold those no matter what. But like Cardano, I really believe in the technology. I think people are overlooking a lot of benefits just because there's just this heavy focus on Africa, and they kind of get this focused in their mind, and they don't understand that it's for everything. It's not just for a very specific purpose. So a coin like that, I would go 65, maybe 20, and I would keep the other 15% on the books. I would just let that ride for the next 4 years, all the way up to the next bull run. So that's an option as well. And you'll notice right here down below the quantity to sell, it says trade in. That's what I indicate on my sheet, meaning that I've put that trade on the books. I haven't put the second trade on the books yet because we're still pretty early in the cycle, but I'll definitely put that on there as soon as I feel like things are moving up a little faster. So trade in means that I've already got my stop or my limit order placed. So hopefully this helped explain to you my thought process and what I think about and what I try to do to execute my strategy to maximize my profits during the times I'm going to be exiting the market. And if you have any questions, please just leave them in the comments section. I'll be happy to answer any and all of them. So let's do a quick recap. The market has finally turned around as a whole, and we're back in happy land. This is great. Exciting things are yet to come. I think that we'll still have some, dips back and forth, but I think our overall trajectory should be up, and it should be pretty quick, especially over this weekend for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going to do some stuff by the end of next week. XRP is making serious waves with all of their legal battles that have turned into successes across the board, and the whole idea of having an IPO. It's really causing a lot of buzz around the coin. You see it jump. It's leading the pack today. It had the highest gains for the day. We looked at the importance of having an exit strategy for selling your crypto in order to make some profits. And the more careful you are with your research and how you put together the details of your spreadsheet and understanding what your sell points are, getting your limit orders in, the more successful you're going to be overall, the more profits you're going to make. And as you looked at my sheet, you can see I knew exactly how much money I was going to make at each sell point. So it's nice to know, hey, I can buy that new, Mustang or whatever I want to buy. But I can't emphasize this enough. You really need to do research on your part. You really have to talk it through in your head. Listen to folks that you trust, that you think know what they're doing, and use them as an example. That's a very good place to start. I would love for you to comment below on any exit strategies that you might have. I would be interested in hearing them. If you used them before, like in 2017, if they were successful, or if you changed it, or if something just didn't work at all, put it in the comment section. Everybody would love to read it and learn from it. So share whatever you have with respect to this. We're getting to the point where everybody's going to need it, and the more information that's out there, the better. Scammers, again, I feel it very important to put this in every presentation because I don't want anybody to get burned. I don't want anybody to lose their money. It's very important. Just be very vigilant and don't trust anybody who asks you for anything, except for comments in the comment section. That's not, you're not really divulging anything there. Just don't put personal information in there. And last but not least, winners never quit, and quitters never win. Always give your very best effort to overcome the challenges that you face in life. I hope you had a great day. I had a beautiful day. I will see you tomorrow.